Good morning, class. My name is Dr. Raipur, and welcome to your online course, Statistics. I had sent you several emails to explore the course. Here's the homepage of Canvas. When you go to homepage, you see that I have set everything up with numbers. So number one, watch the welcome message. You're already here. Thank you for registering in the course. I'm wishing you best of luck. Then it's the class philosophy. Number two, class philosophy. So let's quickly look at that.
Class philosophy. This class is a community and therefore, we all have the same objective, to learn. Online students often feel isolated, but it is vitally important to know you are not in this alone. I would like each of you to approach our online class with a great attitude and a willingness to help one another. Many problems and questions can be resolved by asking a fellow student. I am always here to help you, but I truly believe your experience will be more fruitful if you communicate with your fellow students as well. Let us work together to make this a memorable semester for each and every one of us. Course objectives. The objectives of our statistics course are about the use of probability techniques, hypothesis testing, and predictive techniques to facilitate decision making. Topics include descriptive statistics, probability and sampling distributions, statistical inference, correlation and linear regression, analysis of variance, chi-square and t-tests, and application of technology for statistical analysis including the interpretation of the relevance of the statistical findings. Applications using data from disciplines including business, social sciences, psychology, life science, health science, and education.
Again, this is chi-square. You can contact me at mraipur@lbcc.edu, and normally we answer within 24 hours. So I'm going to go back to the home page of Canvas. Number three would be the announcements. So let me put this in student view and look at the announcements. There are a few announcements available here. Recorded orientation. We have an old recording available to you, and I'm going to put the new one. Today's goes right here. Then welcome and orientation, and these three letters are the same. They have been sent to you. This was sent to you 2 weeks ago. This a week ago. It's a couple of days ago. Welcoming you to the course and asking you to explore the course. Now, I'm going to go back actually to the announcements and tell you that if I leave the student view, there are more announcements coming your way. I will send an email, and if for any reason you miss them, you can find them under the announcements. For example, Math Success Center online study guide, exam week Monday morning video message, instruction on taking exam, information about exam one, and so forth. Going back to the home page, the next one is number 4. Number 4, it has the following underneath: syllabus, modules, where you can find the practice test, PowerPoint solution to the practice test, and the exams. So just about everything is under the modules. I'm going to start with the first one, syllabus. And to get there, you have two choices. You can click on the syllabus here or the syllabus on the left navigation bar. So if I click here, we have the syllabus as well as the Excel calendar. So Excel calendar tells us that we have about 5 weeks, and this is the first day. The very first assignment is due tomorrow. And I've set up all the exams to be taken on Saturdays, except this one I had no choice. So next Wednesday is the first exam, and the final day is the final exam, which is Thursday. Here's the syllabus. The way, first I'm welcoming you to the course. The way the syllabus is set up, I have them with different topics because syllabi are getting extremely large and some may not care for them too much. So at the very least, let's say if you're interested in grading policy, you can click on it and see what the grading policy is. So I'm going to quickly go over that. First, the information about the course, student learning outcome. So upon completion of the course, the student should be able to solve problem using fundamental laws of probability, apply, analyze, and summarize descriptive and inferential statistics. And here's more details and course objective in general or with more details here. The text is online and it's free. It's offered to you by OpenStax. I will show you when we go to my OpenMath. The digital homework is done through my OpenMath, and I'm going to call it MOM from now on. And that one is also free. Here's the class calendar and the information about the class. We meet Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., 5 p.m. And you can find the Zoom link on Canvas or here. And here's the exam dates again. So exam review would be prior weeks to exam during the class meetings. Now, what's important to know, there will be no proctorio exam. It is strongly advised to watch the recording of practice test exam for success in the course. All exam reviews are recorded and can be found under the recorded practice test lecture tab in Canvas. I will be available during the designated class time and student office hours. We don't have that, by the way, to address your any questions. All exams expire at 11:59 p.m. These are the meetings Monday through Thursday, and the calculator, you may use a TI calculator, a graphing calculator. And there are many free online calculators I'm offering you here because I don't want you to pay for anything. And there are some programs through Math Success Center. You can get free online, free calculators. But these are online calculators that I will explain them further as we come across MOM or my Open Math. So you want to get familiar with those and see which calculator works the best for you. We have the tech support for my Open Math, for Canvas, for Campus, and Distance Learning Office. So if you need help with that. The Math Success Center, here's the website, here's the number, and they are here to support student success. Again, location, numbers. There are other helpful websites here, like, for example, the Department of Mathematics. Now, this is probably the most important thing to students, grading policy. Here's how your grade is calculated. Online homework is 300 points. Please understand, as long as you do your homework before the due date, you can take as much time as you want. So that's why a lot of students normally nail that and they get very close to 100%. 4 exams, each one is 100 points. The final, which is comprehensive, 300 points, total of 1,000 points. The final exam, although it's comprehensive, is based on the previous 4 exams and the new module 5. This is a point system. 900 and above is an A, 800 to 899 is a B, 700 to 799 is a C, and so on. You must take all the exams. If you miss any of the exams, it will not be replaced. Your lowest grade before the final may be replaced by the final exam if the final score is B or 80% or better. Homework is at 90% or higher. And this action will result in a higher letter grade. And again, if you fail to take any exam, you receive 0 point and will not be changed. Course late work, I don't recommend you ever do that, although with a 10% penalty, you can do some of the homework late. But if you do that, you probably are going to have a hard time catching up because it's summer and it's a fast-paced course. One thing that is important for you to know, it's what's called CSULB Study 36. Students need about 3 times the number of unit hours per week for a regular semester, 16-week semester, to be successful in the class. Some more, some less. So this is a 4-unit course. That means 12 hours for a regular semester. However, for this semester, for this course, you need to study a minimum of 20 hours per week, since this is a short-term semester. Dropping policy: if you miss the orientation or miss registering with the publisher immediately, miss the first or second exam, you will be dropped from the class. We have more helpful websites such as DSPS and information such as DSPS and financial aids. The summary steps to success: study the PowerPoints, do your homework. And this is important to know. When you do your homework before the deadline, under the module link, watch the video lectures that are embedded in the homework set in my open map. Study the practice test, attend/watch the review session recordings during the class, take the exam by their due date. Communication and student office hours, we don't have it for summer. Just come to the class if you have any questions. And my email is here. Basic needs, Justice Scholar programs, netiquette. In short, whether we are in class or we are taking it online, it's important to follow certain guidelines. For example, we want to definitely show that we are professional, we are courteous towards one another. We use correct spelling and grammar, although it's online, it makes no difference. When you write an email, make sure you have a subject line, okay, which refers to the course that you are registered in, the section number, and use the correct spelling and grammar, and always use positive tone. We want to have utmost respect for our fellow students. And then there are more information. So that's the syllabus. Going back to the homepage. Now, I want to go under the modules. And before I do that, I want to look at two things, because module covers most everything there. One of them is the discussions. In this case, we have two that are not graded. Student bios, you see mine as an example. You're more than welcome to reply and write yours. And if you see somebody's bio and you want to have a comment, please, with respect, that would be fantastic. There's one more, and that is FAQ, frequently asked questions. So before you ask, of course, most everything has been explained here. I hope it has through this recordings. But if you have a general question, for example, how do I use the math editor, or do I need a course ID? No, because the course you get to mom for my open math, you register through Canvas, you don't need it. And more information, I highly recommend you take a couple of minutes and look at the frequently asked questions. So that's the discussion. I want to go back to the modules, to the home. And the next thing that I want to look at is Math Success Center. This is where you can get free tutoring, everybody, in person and online, Monday through Thursday. They have tutoring for math and stat. They have free calculated loan programs and net tutor, free walk-up tutoring, again, in person, online. I highly recommend you look at what they have to offer in case you have any, you need any help. So going back to the homepage of Canvas, now the next one, I want to look at module that has just about everything underneath that. And so you can click on the module on the left navigation bar, or the module here. So modules. What do we find? Number one at top, we see my open math. This is what you do to register with my open math. The next one is the recorded lectures. The next one, exam one module, starting with practice test, PowerPoint, solution to practice test. And the rest of the modules repeat in the same manner. Exam two module is the same thing, practice test for that, chapters, PowerPoints and solution, the same thing for 3 and 4. And module 5 is part of the final. And the last module is resources that I'm going to show you. So quickly, going back to the top, if I put this in student mode and you click on this, it will let you register here. You either have a username and password or you just create an account, just like anything else. Very straightforward. You don't need a username. You don't need a course ID or anything like that. The next one are recorded lectures and practice tests. The first thing that I put up, the latest practice test recordings. So if you miss anything, you can find it just about here. These are practice test chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3. This is for module 1. And then we go module 2, chapter 4, chapter 5, and all the way to the end. So this is where you find the very top one in red. You find the recordings of the practice test solutions. This one are recordings of the lecture section by section, section by section. So there are other recordings, including this one, instruction on taking exams in my open math. I don't want to overwhelm you. I highly recommend you look at that before taking the exam, and I will discuss that later on. So if I go back to modules, so the first one was MOM, my open math. The second one was recorded lectures and practice test. So this one, and when we cover exam one module, it's similar to exam two module and the rest of it. So I start with the practice test. The idea behind this is you take a couple of minutes to read this practice test to see what is covered in the first module. After that, we have chapter 1, 2, 3 PowerPoints. For example, if I click on chapter 1, the PowerPoints show up for chapter 1. So here's for the first section. And if you download and put it in slide mode, you can see this instead of page by page, you can see it line by line or paragraph by paragraph. It's extremely important when you get to examples. So you just don't see the whole thing. Rather, you see the question and the question only. And then as you scroll down, as you arrow down, then you can see step-by-step solution. Then same thing, chapter 2, same thing, chapter 3. Those are PowerPoints. And what is this last one? Remember, this was the practice test. This is the solution to practice test. So on a daily basis, you want to do a couple of questions, and then a couple of days before the exam, check your solution, make sure you have them right. So this is done with details. And remember, this one is the practice test. This one is the solution to practice test. Under the recorded lectures, you can find the recorded practice test solution as well. So everything that you need is given to you. Now, exam 2 module repeats in the same manner as I mentioned. And as you go to the last module here, this would be resources, formulas, TI calculator, and so on. So first it starts with formulas. The formulas are pretty involved when it comes to statistics, but they're all given to you, and you can use a formula sheet for the exam. You cannot use any examples, but you can use the formula sheet. You can use the tables, and these tables, you can find them online as well. For example, the z-score table, the t table, chi-square table, and so forth and so on. Again, going back to the bottom module, we have the formulas, we have the tables, and now we have basic TI calculator commands. So not only I have the commands for you here, if you look at the very first page, also there is a possibility for you to get this emulator by following the steps that I have here. I'm not too sure if it's going to work, but sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. You can try. However, as I mentioned before, I have given you a lot of online calculators that you can find them here, or I will explain it again as we go to MOM or my Open Math. So these are all resources at the bottom of the modules. Going back to the home page, we want to look at the homework and assignments and exams. Again, that would be fine. Again, under the modules, remember the very first one, you have to register. So when you register, you're ready to look at your assignments. So here's your course. Starts with mandatory assignment to my Open Math. I'll go over that in a moment. This is just to get you familiar with the way you work with my Open Math. Has got nothing to do with this course, but in general, how MOM or my Open Math works. The next one is algebra review pretest. It's extremely important that the students be very comfortable with algebra so they can handle statistics. Then we have the course description. There's a calendar here. I want you to pay attention to calendar. First of all, the number of weeks. You decide if you want to have 4 weeks, 2 weeks, 3 weeks to show you. So you can make it smaller or larger. The very first assignment is due tomorrow. We are going to do it today. And the next one in a couple of days, which is the algebra review. Notice exam 1, which is due on this date, right before that, all the homework are due. Should we wait until that day to do the homework? Absolutely not. If we do so, we're going to have a hard time making it. So you really don't want to wait that long. Rather, you want to do your homework on a daily basis, a couple of sections per day. That's all it takes if you want to be successful. Now, when we scroll down, we see module 0, then module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Modules 1 through 5 are the same as module 1 through 5 in Canvas, except over here you do your homework. But what is module 0? Module 0 would be the resources. First, here's the text. And the sections and so forth. Based on this one. But this one, if you find it online, it makes it easier to navigate. But they're both ultimately the same. And of course, it's free. So under module 0, we are looking at the resources. The next one, then it explains about the late pass, calendar, gradebook, and so on and so forth. The most important thing to me is that when you want to review an assignment, so click your score to review your assignment. Let's say you took exam 1 and you want to review it. Click on the score. After its due date, you can check it out. Then we have some resources, instructors' resources. Those are my resources, such as tables in Word file, PDF, and so forth, formulas, flow charts. But what's interesting, it's free online calculators class. We have a lot of calculators that are for free. You have to check to see which one works the best for you. You have to spend a little bit of a time. If you don't have a calculator and you want to use a free calculator online, you have to get familiar with that. For example, this one is very popular. And notice I do mention here that you have to go to the top right, click on tools and calculators. So right here, I see the tools. I click on the calculators and it, it brings it up. And you scroll down and you use a calculator you need. For example, if you want to use the z-score to p-value, t-score to p-value, and so forth, you can do that, okay? And so free online calculators. Use the one that works for you the best. This is another one that is popular, social sciences, social science statistics, okay? You have to find out where you can find the specific calculator that you are looking for, okay? All right. Again, more calculators, Star Trek calculator.net all the way to Desmos. And here, again, the resources, these are the videos as to how to use, for example, TI calculator or Excel. So these are all resources. One more thing, I have added p-value calculators because later on when we get to the test of hypothesis, sometimes students have a difficulty with the concept of the p-value. You can use those calculators as well. There are more online calculators. For example, Desmos, and here's a video as to how to use it. Online stat calculator, daily schedule calculator, study schedule calculator. There are so many calculators. So I hope you put some time to explore module 0 and see which one works for you. Then we have module 1, module 2, 3. They work the same way. If I click on module 1, I see chapter 1, 2, and 3. So if I expand chapter 1, gives me 1.1. Notice what it says. First, watch these videos, lectures, then video lectures, then do the homework assignments, report procanalics. If you watch these videos, which are in red, then we have more of them, instructors video and recommended video. Those 4 red ones, probably they are enough. You don't even have to watch the other recordings or video lectures or even the PowerPoints. I recommend you watch those, then try to do the homework. It may work for you. Now look at 1.2, the same way. First, you have a bunch of videos, more videos from the instructor, me, video lectures by other professors, and then your home. And it repeats the same way for 1.3. You watch some videos, and then you can do the homework. And if you go to module 2, works out in the same manner. For example, chapter 4, 4.1, the same thing. You watch some videos and you do your homework. Everything repeats. So all you have to do, just be concerned with the first module. By the time you finish that, you know exactly what to do. So I want to show you what happens when you are doing your homework. The first one is introduction to my open math. So when you go there and you want to start, the very first thing says, enter the number, just the way it is. And if you click on this rectangle, it brings up the math editor. So 16 points. So if you need to use any of those, 7, 1, 5, 5. Then it says rounded to the nearest hundreds. Nearest hundreds is 1 here, so 16.7. Now 1, because next to it is 5, it goes up to 2. Remember, 5 or larger. Division by 0, we can divide by 0. So normally we say undefined. Since they don't have it, you write just the way they want it. D and E does not exist. And if you submit the question, notice it check marks, says all of them is right, and it gives you the point. Number 2, I want to answer it wrong, 0.7, which is a mistake on purpose. So it says the question is answered wrong. So what do? All you have to do, get a similar question and get it right. So it's 0.333333, and you submit the question, and now it gives you the 4 credits. So you didn't lose anything. All you have to do, get a similar question whenever you make a mistake. Something comes up, I have to leave, so I'm going to say done. It registers that the 2 questions are done, and I have those 2 points under my belt, and I have my points. I can resume or exit. As long as I come back to do this before the due date, I get 4 credit if I finish it. So I'm going to exit. The next one is the same way. The thing I want to show you, again, the same thing, it gives you, this rounding is extremely important because I've noticed students make a lot of mistakes with the rounding, so they don't receive the full credit. So 8.965, for example, the ones would be 8, the 10th would be 9, and so on and so forth. Now notice, this question also has a video. So for some reason, I'm uncomfortable with this question. I see the video. Not all the questions have videos, but this one does. The next one not only has a video, also has a written example. So that is helpful to see that you have those, okay? And you can answer and you can submit the question. And again, we have some of it right. If I press done, okay, notice what happened here. It says question 1 of 5 points. The portion that I got correct, or the portion that I did and the rest of it I didn't have time, I left, the portion that I got correct, I got my point. And it will be registered. If I don't touch it again, that would be my grade. But if I go back and resume and do the work, I get the 4 credit for it. And that's the beauty of doing the homework as long as it's done in a timely manner. So let me recap 2 things. I want to recap coming to my open math. First and foremost, this is the home page of Canvas. You go to modules, and the very first one will take you to my open math to register. And you're in my open math. The very first one is introductory assignment, then it's pre-algebra, then the exams, and again, you don't need to worry about them yet. Then we see the calendar. Module 0 has all the resources. I highly recommend you spend a few minutes to figure out what resources you need. And then you start with module 1 and don't worry about any other modules. By the time you finish module 1, you know exactly what to do. Going back to the Canvas homepage, the synopsis of what we did, there was a welcome message, class philosophy, the announcements, and if you miss any of the announcements that is sent to you, which will be emailed to you, you can go back under the announcements and find them. The syllabus and modules, and as far as you're concerned, most everything can be found under the modules. My open math, PowerPoint lectures, each module with their PowerPoints, practice test and solution to practice test. And the last one is the resources such as formulas, tables, information about the calculator. And again, on the left side, the discussion forum, we have the student bios, as well as the frequently asked questions, and Math Success Center. If we need any tutoring, it is available to us, as well as a free calculator loan program. All of them is for free. Happy studying, everybody, and best of luck.